I got this question in office hours and I wanted to share the discussion with everybody. And so I'm going to try to make this recording. This is going to be my third try because the technology keeps messing up. Okay, so your original function is f of x, and your points, look, so I'm going to call these x and these f. And so it's 0, 10, and this point is 3, 19, and then the point 8, 9, and finally 10, 11. Okay, and then what it tells you to do is do shift left by 2 units, and most people have no trouble with this. So just the x coordinate changes, and then horizontal compression by 2. And so you have to remember that, let's say you're here, you end up here, or if you're here, you end up here. Horizontal compression by 2 changes the x values by dividing them by 2, and the y values will stay the same. Okay? Now, the last thing it asks you to do is expand vertically by a factor of 2, so the x factors stay the same and these guys expand, and I think most people in the class have no trouble with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of these guys and just concentrate on this bit here. Okay, and assuming you can get this far, I want you to rename the x's into t's just so that you can, the t's are the new x's, but just to give it another letter to help you visualize what's going on. Okay, so the problem isn't going from x to g so much as the problem seems to be going from t to x. So what you have is you have g of t is something like a times f of b t plus c plus d. And in this particular exercise, d is 0. We know that. That's pretty easy to figure out. And a is 2. And those are the last two things you do if you do them, and people don't seem to have trouble with it. The trouble people seem to be hung up on is how to get from x to t and back and forth this way is the problem. So really, x is a function of t is bt plus c. It's just like you're finding y equals mx plus b. You have a line, so we need to find a line given 2 or more points. Okay, that's what we're looking for. That's really what we're looking for. And so if you think of it that way, let's just focus on this for a second. We have, for example, x is equal to 0, t is equal to -1, and we have a situation where we have, I'm going to go for the last point, x is 10, t is equal to 4. So let's figure this out. So what is this saying? X of t, x is 0, is equal to b t plus c. Alright, so that tells us b equals c actually. And the other one is 10 is equal to 4b plus c. This is easy to solve because b equals c. But even if it weren't easy to solve, this one happens to be easy. So b is equal to 2, and it's also equal to c. And so this is 2f of 2t plus 2, but could also be written by factoring out the 2 if you prefer to do it that way. Okay, so even if these weren't easy to solve, the same technique will work, and so I think people were looking for a more generalizable technique instead of just trial and error until you get the right answer. Trial and error should be sufficient, but if you want a repeatable technique, this is probably a best bet for you.